This is going to be a video response to Christian Taller's video titled Why Gay Marriage is Wrong. And I first heard of this individual when I saw Repzion's video. And you can go watch Repzion's video and the original in the link down below. You say at around 42 seconds in, and I quote, "The reason why we should not support gay marriage is because no society has ever practiced gay marriage," end quote. You then later argue that, well, there must be something intrinsically understood, that gay marriage is unnatural, and that the union between two members of the same sex is just against our biological functions. Of course, you neglected to mention that homosexual relationships have been very common in the past. Indeed, I'm thinking of ancient Greece in particular. And the only reason why they were branded as immoral and outlawed, essentially, is because of the advent of Christianity. But even if homosexual unions were not practiced and recognized in the past, and they've only been a product of recent history, so what? That doesn't speak anything about what is natural or understood as natural. This is the whole homosexuality isn't natural argument, and it is so flawed on so many levels, and at the risk of repeating myself once again, I will briefly explain why. Reason number one, depending on how you define what is or is not natural, technically we all live in the natural world and we don't know anything outside of the natural world. So you can't exactly say that homosexuality is unnatural because by definition it is included in the natural world. Reason number two, even if you decide to define homosexuality being unnatural as it is not being seen outside of human behavior, then you'd be wrong, because it has been observed many times with many different species of animals spanning many different continents. Thirdly, even if I did use your definition of unnatural, as in not seen anywhere else except from humans, and if I completely ignored all of the biological evidence of animals engaging in homosexual activity, then you would be left with answering the question, why does doing something that is biologically unnatural mean that it is immoral? See, we build skyscrapers, and we drive cars, and we wear clothes. You, sir, are using a video camera, and none of these things have been observed to happen in nature, except, of course, with human beings. So, you really don't have a solid argument here. Any way you spin it, you are holding a double standard and you are a hypocrite if you try and make this argument. You then say that around 2 minutes, and before that you did grant again that ancient Rome and Greece did practice homosexual marriage. And yes, it was marriage. You can do the research for yourself. But the number of cultures you say that practiced something resembling homosexual marriage are far fewer than those that practice cannibalism, and yet we condemn cannibalism even though it's more widespread than homosexual marriage ever was in history. To that, I will say that I don't condemn cannibalism. I think that people do have the right to eat other human beings so long as it is endo-cannibalism. A little bit before 3 minutes, you mention, oh, well, same-sex marriages are just changing the definition of marriage, and, well, it's just like saying that a strawberry shouldn't be called a strawberry because what if I wanted to arbitrarily decide that a strawberry should be called an orange, and to do otherwise is discrimination? Like, wow, dude, really? You really want me to address this? Alright, you asked for it. So, okay, you're changing the definition of words. So fucking what? I don't see the problem with that. We do that all the time, especially in law, where it matters most. The concept of changing the definition of, say, a strawberry to changing the definition of marriage to include gay couples are, again, two completely separate concepts which you don't seem to understand. A strawberry does not have feelings. A strawberry can be assigned any arbitrary label, like, say, an orange, and it would not feel excluded or discriminated in any way because it's not sentient. Yes, we human beings can assign a strawberry another label, maybe in the future, if we really so chose. On the other hand, changing the definition of marriage is not just a change in definition. It is legal inclusion for homosexual and other LGBT couples, so that they can enjoy the same rights as straight couples can, and they don't have to feel discriminated because of the way that the law was phrased from the beginning, that marriage was only between one man and one woman, and that by recognizing other forms of marriage, like same-sex marriage, the couples will not have to feel excluded from the legal process. Now, let me once again reiterate that gay marriage is between two sentient, consenting people that understand the responsibilities involved. Let that sink in a little bit before you try and make stupid bullshit comparisons like the one you just made. So you mentioned at one point in time, traditionally speaking, that the union between a man and a woman was the only one that was considered marriage at around 311 or so. Well, I would like to inform you that at one point in time, anyone that wasn't a straight white male didn't have legal representation at all. You say that in the States, at least, the Founding Fathers and what they stood for was vehemently against gay marriage, and every state in the Union once upon a time had laws that were against homosexual marriage. Well, once upon a time, I'm pretty sure every state in the Union had some laws governing slave owners and slaves. So, at one point in history, we all accepted slavery as okay. I don't see how arguing from tradition gets you anywhere but downhill. And finally, my favorite of all of your arguments comes at around 4 minutes, where you unveil the true evil behind the anti-gay marriage side. The Bible. Oh, ho, ho, ho. The Bible is against gay marriage. Lord fucking forbid that your God would be so offended at two people spending the rest of their lives happily together. Oh, Lord forbid that they're allowed to do that. So what I think is funny is that these Christian warriors for God think they're so goddamn informed that they can preach biblical morality to me as if they know the Bible. And the funny thing is, most of them don't. So, Christian warrior for Christ, I'm sure you also know that in addition to condemning homosexuals, God condemned wearing mixed fabrics. Wait, does that look like a mixed fabric shirt right now that you're wearing? I'm sure you own certain articles of mixed fabric clothing, do you not? Considering it's the 21st century, and unless you are a very, very, very strict fundamentalist, then you must own at least certain articles of clothing that contain mixed fabrics. So if you do, you're going to hell, just like the rest of us. So when it comes down to it, you as a sinful creature have no place telling other sinful creatures how to live their lives, because that just makes you a fucking hypocrite. Like, oh, it's a sinful lifestyle if you are in a gay marriage and God stands against that. Well, I'm sure most Christians these days wear mixed fabrics, so they are wearing clothes that God does not approve of, and they therefore are living a sinful lifestyle as well. So basically, what your entire 5-minute video boils down to is this. It hasn't been seen in history, therefore it's wrong. God doesn't like it, therefore it's wrong. And my response to that is, well, when you stop trying to argue from tradition because it is logically flawed and a horrible argument, and when you stop letting Bronze Age mythology influence your life decisions and how other people can enjoy their lives, then we can talk. But until then, you can scurry on into your church pews and fuck off. May the truth always be heard.